Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back once again to the Sci-Fi Horror and Fantasy Show podcast. I'm your host, Ron Donahue, and tonight I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Jeff McIntosh. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing pretty well. I'd just like to wish all of our listeners a very happy last day of August 2025. We will not pass by this August again.
So, for our listeners, we've had kind of for August was kind of a unexpected hiatus. It wasn't really planned, but due to like illnesses and okay, we can go back. It started first off with we had our Florida Comic-Con here. So that weekend, Mario and Gigi went to the Comic-Con. Then another weekend, they went up to Epic Universe at Universal. They were up there. So Gigi got sick from that. When she came back, her voice was shot. I took my daughter back up to school in Upper Florida a couple weeks ago, and ended up getting bronchitis up there and coming back and being sick. So it was an unexpected hiatus for the month of August, but I'm glad that we're back getting the show started all over again. So anywho, let's just go ahead and start off. So while I was sick, I was watching a few different movies. So I got to see finally Superman. I watched Lilo and Stitch, and I also watched Weapons. So have you seen Superman yet, Jeff?
I had a pirated copy, so the short answer is yes.
Okay. It was so this is a non-spoiler for anybody who hasn't seen it yet. I'm not going to give any spoilers or anything away. Well, nothing major anyway. I got to tell you, I've never really been a really big Superman fan. But I will say, I think James Gunn did a really good job on this movie. I think what really made it better for me than maybe some, other versions of the other Superman movie we've seen is that I think the biggest reason why people don't really get into Superman or like Superman is because he's so unrelatable. You know what I mean? The only thing that is a problem for him is a little green kryptonite rock. That's it. I mean, other than that, the guy's like invincible. Well, this actually showed in the movie, which is still the same premise with the kryptonite and all that here, but I don't know. It just made the actor just made Superman more, at least to me, more relatable, right? Than maybe some previous versions, the previous movies that we've seen. I did like the fact that Superman was already settled. He had already been around for a minute. We didn't have to go through the whole story of him all over again. Coming in the rocket as a baby, getting raised by Kents. So that was really cool. Now I also did like there was one Easter egg, and I'm not sure. Did you see it, Jeff? There was one scene. I don't remember exactly what the scene was, but I remember it was on the highway. And like one of the signs that you see, like directions to like different places, there was a sign that said Gotham City and it had an arrow pointing straight ahead. So Batman has already shown up the first time in James Gunn universe in Creature Commandos. We saw a silhouette of him on the roof in the animated series. So it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when we're going to see him. But I thought that was kind of a cool Easter egg. I mean, I think the movie was pretty good. I think it was done well. What did you like it, Jeff?
I liked it. I didn't catch that Easter egg.
Okay.
And I didn't catch the one that I'm going to talk about for just a quick second.
Okay.
But I think that when he's fighting the giant lizard, and it cuts to one of the big TV screens, and they have a broadcaster talking on the United Planet Network or whatever network it was. That actually was the son of the Christopher Reeve Superman.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Pretty cool.
The thing that got me about the movie, I like the robots. I like Crypto.
Okay.
But what kind of irritated me? I mean, if you go back and you look at Superman somewhat historically, you know, when he first burst out on the scene in what was it, 19? I want to say 39, but
Okay.
correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
He couldn't fly, but he could leap long distances.
Right.
And then I can remember by the time we got into the late 60s or early 70s, he was pushing planets around.
Okay.
He had that much power. He could move planets.
Okay.
And then the leadership at DC said, "Well, you know, he's too strong. You know, we've got to dampen down his powers." And then you go to the movie of you know, a couple of decades later, and he gets into a fight and he gets his keister kicked.
Right.
And he has to run to the Fortress of Solitude and hang out with the robots and, you know, go in the sunroom to get re-energized and then go back out and fight.
Yeah. Yeah. You were 1 year off. It was 1938.
Ah.
Yeah, you're good though. April 1938. Yeah. But
I was just a boy then, Ron.
But even I did like Crypto. I thought he was pretty funny, and I can see that I'm sure we're gonna see more of him down the road. You know what I mean? In other movies, probably I was saying, well, you know, just like strike the iron while it's hot. I'm almost wondering, you know, James Gunn had done when he was still with Marvel, they did that Guardian of the Galaxy Christmas special. I'm wondering, is there going to be a crypto Christmas special? You know, something that nobody expected or whatever this Christmas. I haven't heard anything, but I was just,
you know, it's probably going to join the ranks of the Star Wars Christmas special, which,
oh my goodness,
which hopefully has a warm spot in many viewers' hearts.
Wow.
And for me, something that I watched it once, and then I wanted to have a vomit pail next to me, was the Paul Lynde Halloween special.
That was bad too. Yeah, that was really bad.
And it's just like, I don't know what the network writers were smoking or inhaling or snorting when they had the idea to do this. But
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's on YouTube, folks.
Yeah, both of them. Paul Lynch Halloween special and the Star Wars is it the Star Wars? It's not really. Is it called the Star Wars Christmas? If you just type in Star Wars Christmas special, it's not called Star Wars in the world of Han Solo and Leia, but either or.
It had the Ewoks in it, as I kind of remember, and maybe the Wookiees.
It was crazy. Yeah, it was some. Yeah, it was an. I remember honestly watching it as a kid, and as a kid, you know, wow, okay, this is cool and all, but then you know you watch it later on, and as an adult, like, oh my gosh, this is insane. It's really really bad. But either or, another movie that I did see as well. We had talked about it on one of our previous shows because the trailer looked so good, and I'm like, whoever put that trailer together, they earned their money. But the movie itself, I watched Weapons. It seemed like it was going to be really, really creepy. I mean, it seemed like the whole premise, you know, one teacher's classroom, all of them disappeared at a certain time, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to say it wasn't a bad movie. It wasn't bad. I'll say this. I think that whoever wrote that story really took some inspiration from children's fairy tales and things like that, it's almost like a modern version of an old fairy tale. The whole story, what happens, and again, no spoilers, but at a certain point in the movie, you already know who the bad guy is. You know what I mean? Who the villain, who the bad guy, who's doing all this. I mean, they didn't really keep it a secret very well. I mean, you didn't know for a good part of the movie, but then they just kind of like they spring it on you, and now you're like, oh, that's who's causing all this stuff. You know what I mean? So it was okay. I think what did I give it? I gave it a score. I think if I had to give it a score, I gave it like a C. So it was okay. It was watchable. I don't need to watch it again, but it was watchable.
Just a quick note. It's
Uh,
Star Wars Holiday Special.
mhm.
1978 is, and I'm looking at Princess Leia. So
Yeah.
it's gotta be it. I watched Ed Gein on I want to say Prime. It might not have been the streaming service.
Mhm.
It had Kane Hodder, who was the first
Jason.
the first Jason,
Mhm.
and I was suitably unimpressed.
Really?
It was nothing like the real case.
Mhm.
For listeners who don't know, Ed Gein was the sort of inspiration for Norman Bates in Psycho. I will let you Google, and you can read all about Ed's crimes without me having to go into any detail.
Yeah.
They invented a sheriff's deputy who didn't exist in the real on the real case. They
Okay.
invented a mother for him who was Priscilla Barnes, years away from her heyday in Three's Company,
Okay.
and it was just horrible.
Wow. Really?
Yeah. The other movie I watched on Prime was Werewolves. That was what 2023, 2022, something like that, fairly recent.
Mhm.
And if you have seen any of the Purge movies,
Mhm.
this is the Purge with werewolves.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, there was a super moon that had come out like 10 years ago, and 1 billion people across the world changed into werewolves. And then it was like 10 years later, and there was another supermoon coming, and people were concerned, are we going to turn into werewolves again? And, they would fortify their houses and have shotguns, and, any werewolves on my property, I'm going to shoot them.
Mhm.
It was okay. It was, like I said, The Purge with werewolves.
And that was on Netflix?
No, that's on my Prime, I think. I hunkered down and spent a $5 on it. So
Okay. Okay. All right. And then the last movie that I saw, my favorite Disney character is Stitch. I thought the original movie, the original animated movie, was really good. I love the cartoon that came out. The regular series cartoon was really funny. So I went in and watched Lilo and Stitch. And put it like this, in my opinion, you can watch either or. If you want to learn about Stitch and Lilo, you could either watch the animated show or you could sit there and watch the movie. There wasn't that much of a difference really between the animated movie. There was a slight change at the end that was different from the original movie. But for the most part, it wasn't like a scene for scene, but it was just almost like a duplicate, just like live action of the cartoon. It was good. I mean, it was good. The acting was really good in it. I gave it a B. So yeah, it was good. It was I enjoyed it. It wasn't a disappointment. I know they I guess they did some rework on Stitch, because I know when they first came out with how he was going to look, it looked like, oh my gosh, it looked terrible. But I guess they worked with it with the CGI and everything. So Yeah, I mean, he looks just like he does on the cartoon. It's the funny thing, except that they just made him now like 3D, so it looks like a real creature. But it was a good story. It was good. So again, I gave it a B. And with that being said, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jeff.
I was going to say, I'm going to toss into the mix. Any fans of the new Wednesday season 2? I'm up to. I finished like the first 4 or 6 episodes, so now I'm waiting for the last 4 or 6 to come. And I'm a big fan of the original Addams Family, which for me was the TV version from the early '60s. I'm
Right.
not really wowed about Morticia. I'm not really wowed about Gomez. I understand that they had to go and give Wednesday some kind of powers to drive the story. But, to me, it doesn't really feel like it's canon, but I enjoy the series. The other thing is on Hulu, Alien Earth, which is, I believe, set in the past before the alien that we know and love from what 77, 78, something like that. And that's pretty cool. That's what happens is when they have a ship with different biological specimens crashes on Earth, and one of them is a xenomorph that gets out.
Yeah, I've been watching it. It's okay. Jeff has been kicked out of the room. So, in response to what he was saying, hopefully he'll be signed back in a second. I also have watched Wednesday. I started watching the episodes for the second season. They're good. I mean, I really did. I didn't really think to begin with, even in the first season, I didn't think that would be anything that I was interested in. But I, checked out the first episode, and yeah, man, I was hooked. So I was really excited watching the first episodes of the second season. I don't like the fact that there's like a pause. They left you on a cliffhanger from the last episode. But I think the new episodes come out, I believe it's September 3rd, if I'm not mistaken, on Wednesday. So, I mean, I look forward to seeing that. And going back to what he was saying with the new Alien Earth, it is not at all what I expected. It's
Ron, you still there?
I mean, I've been watching the episodes. The episodes are, I mean, to me, they're okay, but it's nothing even close to what I was expecting that the show was going to be about. It's very different. It's very different. I don't know. Like the last Alien movie that came out at the theater, the director, I mean, you just felt just like this was in the same time frame as the original Alien 1979 with Sigourney Weaver. But with this new show, it doesn't really to me it doesn't feel like that. It doesn't feel like we're in that same, year or close to the time of the original series, original movie. At least to me it doesn't. Okay. But again, the episodes are okay. They're it's interesting. It's not boring, So that goes right into our next topic, which is I was talking about Lilo and Stitch a moment ago. That Lilo and Stitch has become the first movie of 2025 to cross $1 billion global. And the funny thing, the movie was made on a $100 million budget. So, of course, Disney, they're already planning the Stitch Part 2. I didn't think, honestly, I mean, because the original movie came out, I believe it was back in 2002. I didn't think that since it's been so long, I didn't really think that there would be that much interest in, Lilo and Stitch. I know a lot of people like myself like Stitch and they love the story. I just never really thought that it would bring in that kind of money. You back, Jeff?
I am. I'm about ready to take this computer and just beat it.
I was
Riverside booted me, or I used Chrome for a browser, and I'm having nothing but problems with Chrome. It locks on me. It won't respond. I swear I want to go back to Mozilla.
I got you. Yeah, I was just going to our next topic, which was that Lilo and Stitch has become the first movie of 2025 to cross the $1 billion mark. And I said that's a pretty amazing feat, seeing that it was only made with $100 million budget. And what is really, I guess, the thing that's kind of shocking to me is that the original animated movie came out in 2002. So we're talking like 23 years ago. Now, in between the original movie coming out, I know they came out with I don't think I've ever seen the other ones, and I heard that they weren't that great anyway. They had that, and then they also had like the animated Disney animated cartoon series that came on, was really, to me, was really fun anyway. So I didn't really think that it was going to really be that big, or at least not bringing in that kind of money. So I was saying, of course, Disney is already planning the Lilo and Stitch live action part 2. Try to see if lightning can strike twice. Again, I thought the movie was good. I mean, it wasn't that much different from the original one to me. Like I said, there were slight variations, but not that much of a difference. But good for Disney. I mean, wow. I mean, did you happen to see it, Jeff, the live action?
No, I saw the trailer on YouTube, but there was just so much competition for my entertainment dollar.
Okay.
And with movies probably approaching about $15 a piece,
Mm-hmm.
plus all the soda and the popcorn and the nonpareils that you go with 2 or 3 people and you're in $70-$80.
Yeah.
For something that if I wait a couple of years, it might be out like on Redbox. If Redbox is still working, I know that they had filed for bankruptcy, but we still have maybe 2, maybe 3 Redboxes here, and as far as I know, they still work.
Wow. Mm.
I haven't tried, but maybe the next time, because one of them's at my local grocery store, so maybe next time I go in for a gallon of milk, I'll stop and see if it will eat my card and give me a movie.
Yeah. So, like I say, that's a pretty that's some pretty good money that they pulled in for that movie, and it was, again, it was good. I enjoyed it. You can say it was a good movie, but I never expected to bring that kind of money in. So
I wonder how it compares to like the live action Aladdin from a few years ago, and the live action Lion King, in terms of worldwide box office.
Yeah. It did. I'm looking right here, and it was saying that so this is 2025. So they're talking about within 13 months. The biggest movie for 2024 in the summer was Deadpool and Wolverine. That brought in a total of $1.3 billion. And then also, that was Marvel Studios, and then Pixar's also, that brought in $1.69 billion. Say not adjusted for inflation. So I think my guess is what's going to happen. Did you ever see that movie? I didn't particularly like it. That Hero 6. Did you ever see that?
Oh, is that the one with the inflatable robot?
That's the one.
Yeah, I didn't think that was bad. I kind of like that.
Yeah, I see. I was on the opposite end on that one. I didn't particularly care for it, but I know that some fans have been saying, or at least putting it out there in the atmosphere anyway, that Disney should make a live action. I think that would work. To me, I think if they did it, I think that might, in my opinion, it might even be better than the animated one if they change the story around a little bit. I think that would be a really cool story. You know, some of the other animated ones that they've done, I think the same thing. I think that if they're making that kind of money on these movies, and like I say, the original Stitch, that movie is like what 20, like I say, 23 years old. I think they're going to start going down and saying, "Hey, look, let's see what other properties that we have that we can go ahead and start putting them out there for live action and bringing in a boatload of cash." You know.
I'm kind of seeing, Kurt Russell made a bunch of teen movies for Disney, when I was growing up. So I my pitch to Disney is going to bring Kurt Russell back as Snake Plissken from Escape from New York, and put him in the movie The Computer Wore Tennis Shoes.
Uh-huh. That yeah. Okay. All right. Well, hey, let's move on. So, gamingbible.com just recently put out an article talking about Star Wars The Acolyte. It had been canceled. The series had been canceled after the first season. I didn't understand. Okay, well, let me put this disclaimer out there. I'm actually more of a Star Trek person than a Star Wars person, but I do like a lot of the Star. I love Andor. That was like awesome. That was really good series. And I honestly, I was one of the few people that really did like the Acolyte. It had been like bashed by so many people. Other shows, that talk about movies. I've heard the host like bash it. It was terrible and and all this here. It was all right to me. I thought it was interesting, and I was really disappointed because the way that the way that the series left off, again, it was like a cliffhanger. Like, okay, what's going to happen now? But now we know that there's a rumor that there might be a second season coming, which is good news to me, at least. I'm happy about that. Hopefully, it will happen. Did you happen to see it, Jeff?
I started watching it, and then my attention got diverted. I never went back to it. I started watching Ironheart, I think, on
Oh
Disney.
yeah. Did you
And,
like
and
it?
yeah, I mean, for the first, I think I'm like 4 episodes in,
Hmm.
so I liked what I've seen of it. I mean, it's nice seeing somebody who's African American, who's being portrayed as, Tony Stark level genius, and she isn't like a woman of the night. She doesn't have a drug problem. I mean, they're showing her in a positive light, I guess, is what I'm trying to trying to clumsy my way around to say.
Yeah, but
So if for
that's
no
another.
other reason,
Go ahead, Jeff.
go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, that was another show that people were bashing that show too. I mean, again, I thought it was okay. You haven't seen, like, okay, so at least for me, I didn't particularly care for how the ending was of the series, but overall, I mean, it was decent. I look forward to watching all the different episodes. I don't know what people honestly, I don't know what people are looking for when it comes to these different shows. Like, be it Star Wars, be it Ironheart or whatever. I had to explain this to somebody recently because they're like, people will be like, "Oh, it's not like the comic book." I said, you have to understand, when these people are making movies and making TV shows, they have to walk a fine line. They cannot sit there and make these things just like a comic book, because you're going to have a whole bunch of people that are not going to be interested in it. right? But then at the same time, you can't make it so that there's nothing relatable at all to the comic book people or related to the storyline of the comic books, because then you're going to alienate the comic book people. So it's I mean, I understand it's difficult for these people, these directors and writers, to make these different series and whatnot. But to me, overall, I think people are just coming down on them too hard. I really don't understand the ire that people have, again, for Acolyte and for Ironheart. Again, other than it's both series were led by an African American female. You know what I mean? That's the only thing I'm seeing in common between the two of them. And I'm not trying to play a race card or anything in it, but I'm just scratching my head and trying to figure out what is the actual problem. You know what I mean? I don't understand why there is so much animosity toward these shows. Like, okay, I did hear some people were saying, oh, well, for the Acolyte, there's some stuff that they put in there that's not really part of Star Wars lore. And I'm like, okay, you do understand that this is a make-believe story, right? So you can pretty much go in any direction you want to go. You know what I mean? Um, again, I don't get it. I don't get it. But if they do, if Disney is thinking about doing a second season of Acolyte, even if that's going to be the last one, I'll be a happy camper, because I did like the story. I did like the actress. Acting was really good in it. The whole premise behind it was really good to me. So, I mean, we'll see what happens, but I really do hope that they do, do a second season.
Well, I don't want to go off on a big political rant. I'm just going to reference it and say, in America these days, it's perfectly okay to come out with some kind of racist propaganda or garbage about something you don't want. And I'm telling you, the world is full of keyboard warriors.
It's true.
It's really easy to sit in your house and get online and say, hey, I don't like this stuff, and not sign your name and give your phone number. And people are going to read this stuff and say, yeah, this guy really knows what he's talking about, or, oh my God, this guy's a hater.
Yeah.
And, there's no repercussions for anything that you put out there.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's going to come to your house and knock at your door and say, hey, Ron, I read what you said about Ironheart, and what's the matter with you? Are you, like, goofy or something? I hated that crap. So, there's my quarter opinion for the day.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I think people are just hating on things just to hate on them. I mean, I don't get it. I don't understand it, but I hope I hope that they do come around, and they, like I say, they do bring about a second season. I'm really looking forward to that. Well, okay, let's move on. So this is something new I've never heard of before. I didn't know anything about it. I think we made it very clear on one of our previous shows that Shudder movies, for the most part, are like trash. Okay, and like, if anybody likes them, hey, I mean, everybody has a right to their opinion, but I think their movies are like not good at all, and we pretty much had the same consensus on this show previously. But Bloody Disgusting has an article where they're saying Shudder's season of Screams. This is something I never knew happened, but I'm learning something new every day. It says, here's the full lineup for Shudder's biggest ever Halloween event. So what it appears to be, it says that Shudder is launching their season of Screams programming event on September 1st, which will actually be tomorrow. And they're calling it the biggest programming event in the 10-year history of the platform. Now, this is what I'll say it has going for it. I don't think that all of the films, well, at least from the list that I see, some of the movies they're putting out, they're not going to be all of Shudder's films, their studios. It's not their stuff. They're actually movies that came out at the movie theater that I guess that they're putting on, like, during this season of Screams, leading up into, I guess, October, November, or what have you. For example, it says that some of the movies will include our REC. That was like I've seen one of those before. I don't remember exactly how. I think it was I don't know. I don't know if it's a found footage movie. I just remember there was some. It was decent. It was creepy. It was good. The one, I know they have more than one, but I saw the first one. They have that 28 weeks later. The Blair Witch Project, which, as I said many times before, I will never watch again because I'm still traumatized from the first time I saw it. They say that they also are going to bring back something that's called the Gulag and Shudder's popular Halloween Hotline. It says some of the other movies they're coming out, they're going to be having this year is one is called Dangerous Animals. I don't know anything about it. I've never heard of it before. They said the popular VHS franchise VHS Halloween and the found footage breakout hits House of Eden and Hell House LLC. Yeah, I've seen those before. Yeah, they were okay. They were all right. It says as well new seasons of the Bullet Brothers, Dracula, Titans, and the.
I think that's a drag show.
Oh, okay. And then
that's kind of my opinion too.
the creep tapes says, and a new Halloween special, Joe Bob's Splatter Wing, including the legendary rock band Gwar. Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. And that says these new films and series join Shudder's extensive library, including the original. Okay, now they're getting to some good stuff. The 1935 classic Bride of Frankenstein, celebrating its 90th anniversary. The beloved Hitchcock collection films. Okay. The Birds, Rear Window, Vertigo, and Psycho. I got to tell you. Yeah, I know. Let me throw this in there. I'll admit, I've only watched Psycho for the very first time within the past 5 years. And I will tell anybody who's a horror movie fan, I'll just say this. The shower scene, because we've all seen clips. They put that on TV a million times. You see just one little clip of it really quick. I would tell anybody to watch that movie and tell me that shower scene is not one of the most disturbing things I have ever seen in a horror movie. And this is a black and white film, so that to me that's saying something. But when I finally saw that movie, I'm like, man, all these different horror movies I've seen over decades, that was like one of the most disturbing scenes I have ever seen in my life. That is a great film. That is really a great film. And they said that's celebrating its 65th anniversary. They're also bringing back the popular TV series Bitten and Hemlock Grove. I watched that Hemlock Grove. I think I kind of dropped off at the end. I don't think I saw the very last episodes. So then here we go. It says here they're going to have live watch parties at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Shudder TV. On September 5th, they're going to have The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs, Season 7 new episode premiere watch party. The title says will be announced. September 12th, Recreational Psychopaths watch party is going to have Dangerous Animals and the Furies. September 19th, the Babysitters Club watch party, Night of the Reaper and Spoonful of Sugar. Okay. I think they're throwing in some Shudder films because some of these films I've never heard of before. September 26th, movies that made Shudder watch party, VHS 94 and Late Night with the Devil. I saw that. It wasn't as great, in my opinion, as everybody let on it was. I mean, it's okay, but either or. So they're putting that on. October 3rd, The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs Season 7. New episode premiere watch party. That's to be announced. They say on October 10th, Found Fright Nights watch party, VHS Halloween, and Noroi, The Curse. It sounds like a foreign film. I've never heard of that one either.
It was Japanese.
Yeah. Next is October 17th, Spotlight on Director Moreau triple feature watch party. They're going to have other Mads and Them. I know what Them is. Yeah, Them is a good movie. That's a good movie. October 19th, Fangoria Chainsaw Awards Watch Party. October 24th, Joe Bob's Splatterween Watch Party. Titles to be announced. October 30th, Hell House LLC Watch Party. Oh, wow, that's crazy. It says all 5 films, including Hell House LLC. You know, I didn't even know they had made that many. I know I saw 2 of them. I didn't know they had made 5 of them altogether.
Yeah, I think I've seen 2 or 3.
Yeah. So then October 31st, now you're talking. Trick or Treat Watch Party, Halloween, the 1978, the very best version out of them all, and Deadstream. I'm not familiar with that one.
Not me either.
And then on November 1st, they're going to have the Day of the Dead Watch Party, and the movie will be Day of the Dead. So what say you, Jeff? How does this lineup sound to you? I mean, I'm not subscribed to Shudder service, but at least the movies that they're talking about, I mean, it sound like a good number of movies they got.
Yeah, I mean, I used to be a big fan of AMC's Oktoberfest.
Mm-hmm.
I think is what they used to call it a few years ago.
Okay.
But it was the same movies.
Okay.
You know, it was like Halloween 1 through 35, and you know, all these other, Jason Kills Everybody movies, and they were just ridiculous because it would be the same thing every year, and they would, you know, put out a big ballyhoo. Hey, you know, here's the list for this year, and yeah, we're gonna start off with Halloween 1 through 20.
Mm-hmm.
And I just got to the point of saying, ugh. And you know, back in the day when AMC was free, it was free with your cable, and now, you know, it's, I don't know, $7-8 a month. The wife gets it every so often if there's a series she wants to watch. But, you know, I don't. I used to get Shudder. I got Shudder because I liked Creepshow. I liked the anthology horror stories, you know, like Tales from the Crypt, you know, Monsters, Tales from the Dark Side, you know, all those type of shows. So I got it for Creepshow, and I think I got up to season 4 on Creepshow, and then I just decided, you know, I don't know that I'm feeling it. So some of the documentaries were pretty cool. I like those. Eli Roth did, I don't know, 5 or 6 that were horror, and then it would be like witches, or horror and it would be vampires, you know, and those were halfway decent.
Okay.
But a lot of the movies, and there's, you know, my personal opinion is, if you want to fly your freak flag, you fly it. I don't care what you do.
Yeah.
Drag is not anything that, you know, I really want to watch. It just is not my thing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, not for me.
You know, I mean, if you want to do a drag Dracula, and you've got people that want to watch it,
yeah,
you go.
Yeah,
you be you. But I don't think Shudder is. I don't think Shudder is the network for it. But you know personal opinion.
You know what? I tell you, and this is I might be late to the game. Other people might already know this stuff here, but I didn't know. You know, because I see more different platforms are doing this now. You know, Amazon Prime. Like when you click on it and you open it up on your TV, phone, or tablet, whatever, you see, okay, like movies, and then at the top you can click on live TV, and they have like tons. They're just like Pluto. Like Pluto has like tons of different like channels you can watch. Like I'm almost thinking about getting rid of my Friendly. I have a subscription to Friendly right now because every Saturday they put a 2-hour from 6 to 8 of the Three Stooges on there. But now Amazon on live TV, they actually have a Three Stooges channel. where you can sit there and watch them 24/7. I think the only thing I'm keeping, even though I don't watch it all the time, Amazon doesn't have Me TV. And I do watch once in a while Svengoolie, the movie that he puts on at, every every Saturday night. But other than that, yeah, I'm telling you, there's so many of these different platforms now where they have like their own, they even have on it's called Universal Monsters, I think. And I don't know if it's every night, but it seems like almost every night they put on 3-4 hours of the monsters. You know what I mean? Before they go to some other shows or whatever. So yeah, I mean, start looking around. You'll be able to find a whole bunch of different shows and channels that have whatever you want. Your horror movies, comedies, fantasy, sci-fi, whatever. All these different platforms have it now, which is really, really cool. So
I mean, I've got a Roku, and I'm cheap.
Yeah.
And I look at the free channels, and I mean, I have Tubi, I have Freeview. I've got a bunch of horror and sci-fi channels.
Mm-hmm.
Tubi has always got some sketchy junk on. I watched one a week or two ago, and I think it was called Gator or Bayou, where people, crash land in a swamp, and there's mean gators, and they're looking for a free meal. Not any different from any other hungry gator movie that you see, but it wasn't bad.
Okay.
And there's just all kinds of free junk out there, for the taking, and it's not going to cost you, your $13.99 at Netflix or whatever. So
absolutely, it's true. It's true. It's
I see they even have MGM, because
mm-hmm.
for people, I'm going to just toss this out, for people who like true crime stuff. I talked about Ed Gein and how he inspired or influenced Psycho. There is a 3-episode documentary, and it's called The Lost Tapes of Ed Gein.
Okay.
And they are the tapes that the local sheriff recorded when they arrested Ed back in, the early 1950s.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all, on. You remember the day, Ron, where you used to have like little portable reel-to-reels before cassettes became popular?
Mm-hmm.
That's what they used to record these talks.
Okay.
And if you listen to Ed talk, and then with the other part of your mind, you're thinking about all the crimes that this guy committed.
Uh-huh.
He just seems like he's kind of befuddled. It's like, how the heck did I end up in the police station? What did I do wrong?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that is on Prime under the TV shows, because I'm kind of looking at that right now. So if you want something that's gonna raise your ick factor, especially if you're a carnivore and you like a steak every now and again, be sure to watch this show and then let me know what you think afterwards.
There's another. I just finished watching a series, season 1. So it's called Amityville: An Origin Story. So the thing about it, if anybody doesn't know, it's a good ghost story, but it's bull crap. And if you want to watch the Amityville, if you want to watch the actual movie, watch the original one with Margot Kidder. And the second one, the remake they did, was it was not good. It's, and so they portrayed like this is like something that really happened, da 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 da. And then you come to find out this was a money grab for the Lutz family. Now, true, there was a family in this house in New York, Amityville. The DeFeo family was murdered by one of their sons, Ronald. But the only weird thing about that is, which I mean, I don't think there's the supernatural involved with anything like that, but it was really weird that everyone in the house was sleeping on their stomach and was shot in the back, and everybody was shot in the bed. So the question came, with that rifle that he had, that thing was like loud. And inside of a house, you're shooting a rifle. It's weird that nobody would have woke up and everybody's just laying there in the bed on their stomach when they got shot. That was weird. I even asked, Mario's a former police officer, and I asked him about it. I gave him the model of the rifle and everything, and he was sitting there scratching his head. Now, what it did say was they were saying possibly there might have been more than one person in the house at the time that assisted with Ronald going around, and he tells his story of what happened. But yeah, the whole story. Even they brought in with the Warrens, Lorraine and her husband, and they supposed to be finding spirits and all this stuff. It's not. It was a cash grab by the family. It was planned with an attorney that they were going to make money off of this thing by telling this really scary story, which they did. And the people that moved into the house afterwards said they never had any problems or issues, whatever. But either way, that's neither here nor there. It's a good documentary called Amityville, an original story, and that's on Amazon Prime as well. I used to watch those different ghost shows and stuff too. I'm a bit slow sometimes. I figured it out like, it's weird that they always see everything, but the camera never was looking in the direction where they just saw something. So it took me a few years to figure out that this is bull crap. But I did see this one time where they would interview people about their experience and what happened. And it was so funny. My wife, she never watched those shows, but this one in particular, she was watching with me this time, and she even busts out laughing. It was a young black man that was I think a record producer or music producer, something like that. So he was talking about, it was him and his wife had purchased, I think it was like a brownstone somewhere in New York, or if they have brownstones in Chicago, wherever it was. They moved into this house, whatever. And he said, like, the first night, the chandelier was moving, the like lights were flickering on and off. They were hearing stuff, seeing stuff. He said they left that night. He said the only time I came back was right now so we could film this episode. That's why you never saw too many episodes with us black folk on it, because we don't sit there be trying to investigate. We see something weird, man, we out of there. We ain't playing around with that stuff. So that
there was a movie on Netflix or Prime, and it had the woman from Fatal Attraction in it. I'm blanking on her name, and she had a African American husband at one point in time. So her daughter was black and her grandkids were black, but they lived in a haunted house.
Okay.
And they were having all this weird stuff, and eventually it got so bad that they had to leave. And one of these yahoos from Ghost Adventures, or My Partner the Ghost, or whatever, bought the house and had it raised because he said that it was the most haunted house that he had ever seen, and it was full of demons.
Oh yeah, that was Zach Baggins. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
It was like, I start seeing stuff. I start seeing, like dark shapes at the foot of my bed, and somebody starts whispering my name, or there's a teacup flying at my head. I'm out.
I'm saying. Yeah, ain't no investigating and all that foolishness.
It's time to go. Like, I'm going to call Rod Steiger to come back from the dead as the priest, and come in and bless my house.
And they can keep it, man, if I come across something like that. I will, you know what? I'm not going to bore the audience, but I will give you a haunted house story, Jeff, something that me and my wife were messed up with. But anyway, okay, so let's go to the next thing. They have released a trailer for, we discussed this one of our previous shows. The concept is really interesting, but they finally put out a trailer for it's called Good Boy. Now, even though Shudder is attached to it, it looks like it's a IFC and Shudder came together to make this movie. So I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. It comes out in theaters on October the 3rd. And basically the story is, it's a haunted house story, but it's coming from a dog's perspective. So you're seeing everything on screen as if it's you're the dog, or you're seeing the dog reacting, and you're seeing, like, from the dog's vantage point, this weird stuff that's going on in his house, and I guess he's doing everything he can to try to keep the family safe or what have you. It was okay. The trailer was okay. Matter of fact, I did kind of I did kind of jump at one point when I was watching it, because it was like a jump scare or whatever. And I'm like, dang, that was pretty good. Now, my thing is, trailers can be very deceptive, because when I saw the original Weapons trailer, that movie looked so creepy. Little kids running, nighttime, blah, 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 blah. And like I say, the movie was really not scary at all. So hopefully this one, the trailer will do it justice, do the movie justice, and it will really be something scary. What did you see it, Jeff? Wow, does it look like it's going to be a decent movie to you?
It does. I mean, anybody who's got a pet will have the experience where, your dog or cat will be staring off in the corner and just kind of, eyeing the wallpaper or whatever. And, as the human, you sit back and think, what the hell does that dog or cat see that I can't see? What is it? What's on the ceiling? Why is the dog barking? This is an answer to that question. This is, if you look at it kind of scientifically, and I'm not going to be an expert on this, but there are different wavelengths of light. And we see things because light reflects off of whatever it is we're looking at, which is why we can see our speakers and other people and the floor, whatever. But suppose ghosts and monsters and demons don't reflect light, so we can't see them. But our favorite, our fur babies, who can see probably in other wavelengths of light that we can't, and they're looking in the corner and saying, "Oh, who's that guy with a hatchet? What's up with that?"
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, I would go to the drive-in to see that, because that's kind of like a drive-in movie, and I kind of like going to drive-ins in my advanced old age.
Yeah,
but I don't want to pay $15 to see it, but I'd go 8.
They better not kill that dog. That's all I know. They better not do anything to that daggone dog.
The dog is going to become possessed, and then we're going to have The Exorcist, like 5 or whatever it is.
Yeah. So
the power of Christ compels you.
Yeah, it looks really good. You can find it. Just go to YouTube, type in "Good Boy Trailer," and you'll see it. Okay, so we're at the end of the show now, or the last part of our show anyway. So we're going to discuss the question of the week, and this week's question of the week is: name a horror, fantasy, or sci-fi movie that you watched as a kid and thought that it was really something great, that didn't seem nearly as good as you watched it again as an adult. You want to start that one, Jeff?
Sure.
Okay, what you got?
I live, as many of you know, upstate New York, right up near the Canadian border. And when I was growing up, we used to have a program out of Syracuse called Monster Movie Matinee, and it was a horror host program where they would have an opening shot of the model of a graveyard with a haunted house up on top of a hill, and then you had like a vampire / mad scientist and his assistant Igor.
Okay.
And for the time I'm talking about, early 60s, monster kids like me ate this stuff up.
Okay.
But one Saturday afternoon, and my parents were out, and we were being babysat by my cousin. They had on Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Okay.
And I watched that movie, and I was probably somewhere between like 6 and 8 years old, something like that.
Okay.
And I was scared for the next week or so because our bedroom, I shared a bedroom with my brother. Our bedroom was upstairs, and the only bathroom in the house was like 6 or 8 feet from our bedroom door, straight shot into the bathroom.
Okay.
And I would have to get up in the night to pee, and I would go ahead, and it's like, I'm going to open the door, and the gill man is going to be standing there,
Okay.
and he's going to be doing, his gills are going to be working, and, he's going to have those gnarly claws, and that's going to be it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully that never happened. And now, you shoot forward, 50 years later, and the creature is kind of like the Rodney Dangerfield of monsters. He doesn't get any respect. I mean, he's primarily waterborne, but he can get out. But he moves as fast as like a George Romero zombie.
Okay.
So to me, he's really not that scary. Creature of the Black. Yeah. Okay, sure. I would much rather watch, 1941's Wolfman than see any of the 3 creature movies. Although I will say the one that Del Toro did, which was his homage to the creature,
Mm-hmm.
Shape of Water, I believe.
Okay.
That one was pretty good.
Okay.
That was pretty good. So my answer is Creature of the Black Lagoon.
Okay. So for me, it would have to be the 1979 horror film Phantasm. So I was probably at that time either like 9 or 10 years old, and my older brother, he's like 16 years older than me, used to take me to see movies. My mom like, oh, you should take your brother to movies sometime, and his idea was like taking me to like movies totally inappropriate for kids my age. But he took me to see Phantasm. And I remember that movie so like Jeff, I grew up in Detroit watching a Saturday afternoon movie host named Sir Graves Ghastly. And if you look on YouTube, you type in Sir Graves Ghastly. Unfortunately, there are no they used to, so whenever they recorded episodes, they just would record right over them. There's no like full episodes of any of his shows, but you can see bits and pieces of his show and bits that he did or whatever. But I grew up watching Sir Graves Ghastly. Now, these were old black and white horror films, right? And I probably started watching Sir Graves when I was like maybe 5, 6 years old. So those movies were never really scary to me, the old black and white ones. I was used to watching them. So Phantasm was actually one of the first movies that I watched that my brother took me to, a horror film where you're seeing like blood and guts. And I remember, man, I was like traumatized when I left the movie theater, And I remember there was the tall man. I remember the metal spheres that would fly around, and if it hit you in the face, it would drill your brain out. I mean, it was like terrified. But years later, when I say years, I'm talking about decades later, because that was probably about maybe about 20 years ago, because say 19, 20 years ago, because I'm like 55 now. So yeah, say about 35 years old when I went to Walmart and Phantasm was in the dollar bin. So I bought the DVD and, brought it home ready to watch. Like, man, this movie's going to be so freaking scary. I remember. And, when I watched it again as an adult, I'm like, man, this is not that good. This is really not that good. So that would really be my movie. I'll throw one more in there for fantasy. It'll fall up under fantasy. When I was a kid, me and a kid across the street from me, his name was Kamal, we were like really huge into Kiss. I think all little kids were into Kiss. You know, the Gene Simmons spitting the blood and blowing the fire and all this stuff here. And I was listening to them as a little kid. And it was around, I think, Halloween. I don't know what year it came out, but it was a movie came out, Kiss meets the Phantom of the Park. And I remember, oh man, that movie as a kid was so cool, you know. And it's so funny, like you say, your perspectives change from time to time, from a child to an adult. Because even Gene Simmons, like years later, was like, man, we should have never made that movie. It was like, it was so bad. Now I'll still watch it now. I still will watch that movie now. But it's kind of like a guilty pleasure because you watch, like, gosh, this movie's terrible. It was even one scene that was so funny when they had stuntmen like for those who don't know Kiss is all composed of 4 white gentlemen. There was one scene where it was a stuntman for one of the members, Ace Frehley, and you could clearly see that the stuntman was a black guy with makeup on. It was, and you know, as a kid, I didn't notice it, but when Gene Simmons talked about it, and I went back and watched it, oh my gosh, it's really bad. It's a really bad movie, but it's one of the bad movies that it's so bad it's good. You know what I mean? So yeah, that would be just the second one I would go with. But either or, that brings us to the end of our show. I want to thank my host, Mr. Jeff McIntosh. It's good to talk to you again, man, after that little hiatus that we had. And thank you all for listening. We really appreciate it. You can find all of our episodes on YouTube. And if you be so kind, please give us a like. And you can also subscribe as well so that anytime our episodes come out, you'll be notified as soon as they do. And also, you can catch us on any other platforms where you listen to your favorite podcast. We're there. So once again, thank you so much. We really appreciate you all, and see you all next time.
All right. Remember that tomorrow, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, Aurora Borealis. So get out there and see the lights in the sky.